Hello and welcome to Enter the Dragon Tamers Den, the official podcast of the Battle Frontier and a Pokemon Go PvP podcast. I am TacoDog.
And I'm JetForceGemini.
And if you're new around here, welcome. Like I said before, we are a Pokemon Go PvP podcast that primarily does the grassroots PvP, grassroots team-based PvP, known as the Battle Frontier. If you're not new around here, welcome. This is the first time we're trying video, and so there's gonna be some bugs and glitches. Just like Niantic. But unlike Niantic, we're gonna work these out to make it better. So Jet, I gotta ask, how was your week?
You know, it was good fun. Having trouble remembering much of the week prior to the weekend. Because it was a lot. It was a lot this weekend.
Oh yeah, I can 100% agree on that. I don't remember what happened this weekend. I know we took some time off, which I guess everyone in the Battle Frontier technically took some time off because Niantic did Niantic things and broke their game.
They did that, and they kind of pulled an old Niantic, which to me was a little bit more sad about the whole situation. Which in game there was no announcement at all about the fact that gameplay may be affected. So if you didn't have a friend or a community with eyes on the Twitter, then you were blissfully unaware that you were probably being cheated out of games.
I honestly didn't even see a tweet go up that's saying, trainers, we're investigating this issue. But, of course, that was neither here nor there. I was too busy focused on other things, like, oh my goodness, I'm going to LA. Oh, how am I getting out there?
Yeah, your logistics are still blowing my mind a little bit.
Thankfully, we had gotten back, at the time of this recording, we got back from LA 4 hours ago. 5 hours ago. It was 4 o'clock Central Time. But yeah, I'm going to jump into my deal a little bit. So I don't remember anything before LA. I'll be very honest.
What do you mean? You drove for like full day.
That's what I mean. Like Valentine's Day, I left my wife at home.
Oh yeah, I guess that was last week too. Huh?
Yeah, last week was Valentine's Day. So instead of spending a time, with my lovely, beautiful wife that I love, she goes, "Hey, so have fun, bye." So she went to dinner with her family, and I was on a trip with my friend Brady, and we drove out to LA. We ended up getting there Thursday night, and just in time to meet up with Jack at the hotel. And then Friday we'll get into the LA part in a second. And then we drove back, and I said, okay, we're going to be back on Tuesday today by midnight. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun time. Or not midnight, excuse me. We're going to be back Tuesday at like noon. We missed the mark by about 4 hours.
I mean, it's easy for that time to add up when you literally have thousands of miles to cover.
It wasn't even the fact that like the drive itself was the bad part, or like stopping to fill up. It was just more of the fact that when we got it, LA had like no traffic problems, which I never thought I'd say that phrase out loud, because there was nothing but traffic when we were out there, and it was awful, and I hated it. Like that 5-mile drive took about the same time as me traveling from here to, say, Cedar Rapids, and that's a 20-minute drive from here. But what I'm saying is, once we got out of LA, we got to Vegas. We stopped in Vegas for some. We stopped at the Hershey store, and then we ended up just like driving home, and we're like, it's great on time. And then for some reason, like everyone in like Nevada or Utah decided roads are the lines on the roads are not important, so they just kept crashing into each other. It was weird.
Great.
I really wish I could make that part up, but like every time we were driving on the road, we would see, ding, there is an accident up ahead, delaying travel by about 38 minutes. Ding.
Well, and this is why I understand on like a, how do I say this, philosophical level why you would default to driving like as your familiar activity, but at the same time it's just so much more inherently dangerous.
I will be the first one to say, so I had two reasons for not wanting to fly. Reason number one was I didn't want the airplane door to just randomly fall off. Which,
Thanks, Boeing.
yeah. Which my friend goes, "Oh, is that an actual like big problem?" I said, "Well, there's like Senate hearings or whatever on it, and it's always popping up in my early morning feed when my alarm clock goes off at 7 a.m. So I guess it's pretty important." And then the second reason was getting to LA was gonna be the easy part. Getting back from LA was gonna be the harder part because big airports mean a lot more time is needed. You know, I fly out of the Cedar Rapids airport. I can get there with like 30 minutes before my flight. I'm in and out of the TSA line and I'm ready to go. But like if I'm going through a hub like LA or Chicago, I have to be there like 6 hours early with like my blood type, my passport, my driver's license, and then like my social security card, have it all in hand and go, here.
Yeah, don't do any of that.
So that's just me. Like flying is, I told my buddy this, like, I'm not opposed to flying. I just, yeah, my stance on it is, it's so much of a hassle for like convenience.
Yeah, to me it just sounds like you're not used to it. I always go through the spiel with people because for a couple of our like high school trips, there were people in my group that had never flown before, and I couldn't tell you what my first flight was. Like I'm pretty sure I flew as a baby, so like I don't even have that experience. Where things have definitely changed over time, but it's yeah, the inconvenience is very minimal.
Well, there was a massive event when we were children that changed like getting on to airports.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. It did change the whole structure of how things work, and there's maybe some missed opportunities to look back at old movies where you could, you know, follow the love interest all the way to their gate just to, you know, catch them before they leave. It's like, oh, that's weird. But
yeah.
Yeah,
I will
nothing like the olden days where it was a game at the metal detector to see if I would not set it off, because of course I had like my Game Boy and spare batteries and everything else, or it's just like inevitably I forgot something. So
that's fair. Actually, I can tell you the main reason why I don't like to fly. Like before, like I would fly a lot. Before this one event happened, I was perfectly fine with it. But it kind of jogged my memory when you said it's probably not that much experience. I haven't flown a lot after this last experience, but when I was in Seattle for my freshman year of college, I was at the men's basketball tournament, and we were scheduled to fly out, and there was a thunderstorm. And, you know, the captains, I trust their captain things, and the air traffic controllers gave us clearance, and we like take off. And we're there with like the basketball players, the coach, the staff, the parents, and the band. Of course, they put the band in the back because no one likes the band, except the head coach. And the plane just drops. It's just like, funk. I guess it might have gotten struck by lightning, but like everyone on the plane became high-pitched, squealy girls for like 5 seconds. And from that moment on, I just said, you know what? I can do this less in my life.
Yeah. Well,
So
and that's fair. That is an event, right? That is part of your villain origin story.
Yeah, so that is my main reason. I guess like that's like the main, like you said, my origin story for not wanting to fly. But if I have to fly, which after this trip, we have since made a rule, if it's further than Chicago, we're flying.
How many hours is that in a car?
It's a 4.5 hour drive.
Okay.
Give or take a couple of minutes. So, yeah, so if it's within a 4.5 hour drive, we're going to drive to it. If it's not, well, let's get the planes.
Oh, hey, showcase has ended.
Did you win?
I won 2.
Yes. I didn't do any showcases today. I did all the ones yesterday with the Mantike. Because every time we stopped at a gas station, there was a stop where you can drop in the Mantike.
It's nice that you had some opportunities to enter, just because they're so random. It feels like which ones can even be showcases.
Look, and that Masterwork research is not going to finish itself. So every time we stopped, open phone, catch all the Pokemon, take off.
At least our time gate is shorter than the global one.
Yeah.
Not that I'm on that step yet.
I'm not on that step either. I'm still on catch 492 of everything. By the way, spoilers for the step 1 of the Masterwork research. 492 of Kanto, Johto, Sinnoh, and Hoenn Pokemon. Good luck, trainer. And then step 2 is do something with your Pokemon 7 days in a row. So maybe by this time next week we'll have an update for step 3. Until then, who knows? So
I thought there was something that was like 12 days, 12 different days that didn't have to be in a row.
Oh. I could be wrong. I've been wrong more times than not. So that could be something. I'm going to try to look that up here.
Not that one.
I don't see it.
What is the little hedgehog's name again?
Oh, Shaman.
Yeah, that guy. That I definitely already have.
Step 2 is catch 10 grass type, catch a Pokemon 7 days in a row, catch a Pokemon on 21 different days.
Yeah, so I think ours is just like 2/3 of that or something.
Yeah, okay, so 3 weeks from now we'll have an update. Yay. That's okay. Thanks, Pokemon Go, for giving me that access super quickly. Anyway, I think we should...
Did you get any other cool stuff from Sinnoh Tour you want to shout out?
Yeah, I got 2 shiny Hisuian Quillfishes, so I have the family. I hatched the shiny Chatot on my ticket day, which was Sunday. I got the shiny Stunky with Home Slice Henry and Joss. Shout out to both of them. I don't remember who made the comment, but on Friday we got to the Pasadena City College because there were the origin raids that started, and so we parked the car. And all of a sudden I look over and I go, that person looks familiar. Oh, that's Home Slice Henry. And so I walk over and it goes, wow, in a city as massive as LA, you can still find Home Slice Henry in the sea of people. I said, well, there aren't that many people that look like him.
We're gonna assume that's a compliment.
I mean, he had a very... What's the word? He had a very, I'm not going to say interesting, but he had a very unique fit that he was wearing. Where it's like, I recognized it from the last time he came down for a community day. And it's like, I recognized it right then and there and go, that's him. So I was like...
that onesie anywhere.
Oh, goodness. No, it wasn't a onesie. It was like... it's hard to describe because I'm not gonna do it justice. It was like, oh, what was it? I'm just gonna pick on the glasses. He had on like sunglasses, and he had another layer of sunglasses. I think it was like a special kind or a prescription of sunglasses. But
He needs glasses to see through his glasses.
he needs glasses to see past all the haters.
I don't believe it,
But-
but okay.
Yeah.
What
What-
haters?
One funny thing that had happened was also I got the shiny white stripe Basculin that Niantic said wasn't gonna be shiny. We're like, Niantic, we proved you wrong. I would say like the other thing that we did was Jack, Jas, and I sprinted 3 blocks to try to not spend a remote raid pass on an Origin Dialga raid. Jack and Jas made it. I fell like
Oh,
10 feet short, so I used a remote raid pass.
I'm glad you didn't actually fall.
No. I was hoofing it. Like, we were all running, and then like people started to drop off one at a time, and so we all just walked back. And I was in jeans, which was like super dumb. And then I ripped my other pair of jeans on Saturday. It was a fun time. I was definitely in shambles. And then Sunday, I have to shout this person out because they recognized, or they were like, it was like the first time meeting like a fan that was just like, oh my god, it's you, hey, hi, how are you? There was a guy that was looking like he had on his backpack like what he was looking for, and one of it was a Pichu with an Ash hat from like 2017. So I asked him like, hey, does it need to be shiny? And he goes, no, it doesn't have to, but I've already used all 6 of my special trades. And I'm just telling him, bummer. And then he recognizes my shirt, my Taco Dog shirt that I've worn from every now and again. And he goes, wait, I've seen that shirt before. I like that shirt. Where'd you get it? And I say, oh, this shirt, I actually made it. And he goes, wait a second, are you Taco Dog? Do you have a podcast? I said, yeah, I have Enter the Dragon. I'm the co-host for Enter the Dragoners Den. And his face like lit up. He's like, oh my god, it's you. And like me in the most taco answer I can give is like, I said, oh my god, this is the very first time I've ever had something like this happen. Apologies if I look super awkward, if I sound very awkward. He's like, no, it's fine. And he actually has a podcast, Pixels, Polygons, and Fun, and added him as a friend on Discord because that's apparently what we do when we get in touch with people. Where are we? No, wait, he's gotta be one of my friends. Come on. There it is. So his Discord was gonna be like Raging Gingy, but he double typed the G, so it's Raggin Gingy. But all in all, super awesome person, super chill. Like, I was able to take a picture of them, but I didn't ask him for the picture to send me because I was like, bummer. I was just kind of in shock at the whole moment. And then like afterwards, they're like, oh hey, as I've already met. I was like, where's your co-host? And I go, oh, he came yesterday. And he's like, dang it. Because I was like, because I got Sunday instead of Saturday because I'm big smart, SMRT. So yeah,
I
that
mean,
was
there were a lot of people who didn't get a ticket for either day because they just waited too long. So good job getting a ticket. Period.
I was happy to have gotten a ticket. I was happy to have gone out and play. I was a little sad that you and I didn't get more time to play together, which, I mean, we got dinner, which was still pretty good.
Yeah, and it was great just to have a little bit of time with the teammates and meet some of them that have just been online people so far, and looking forward to doing that with the rest of everybody eventually.
Oh, absolutely. Did you, before I forget, did Jack ever give you the box that I gave that I was?
No, I need to I need to figure out where it is now. But I appreciated holding it in my hands for a few minutes. It's good to know it existed.
So I'm pretty sure he took it back with him.
That's
So
good.
he'll
Okay,
probably
that's fine.
he'll probably ship it to you because it wasn't in our car, and I checked the hotel room. It wasn't in the hotel room either. So
That's fine. I trust that guy.
he's a very
The other thing though, you have to send us the photo that we took together.
I do. I will get that sent over like right now because that's important.
Good stuff. And
But enough
Yeah.
of my rambling. How was your LA tour experience?
so it would have been perfect had we not had our Airbnb cancel on us at like 3:30. So we had to like audible more of that adventure than I would have liked. But I was glad to be there with the people that I was, because I was driving. It was nice to have other smart people in charge of saying things like, "Let's get dinner before we like make any big decisions." I was like, "This is a good plan," and so we did at least get to have some good food and just kind of recoup a little bit because it was go time from like 4:30 a.m. for us because we had to pick people up and make the drive up to get there in time to get in. And then I'm glad that we didn't have any issues with our line. Like we were on the golf course side and it moved along fine. I didn't find out until the next day that the extended hours that we got in the city were because of issues at the gate. Where I was like, oh, well, I thought this was just how it was supposed to be, but I guess not.
Oops, sort of thing.
No, but it was a ton of fun, and then it was great to see some of the other San Diego people that went up. There were actually a lot of people there, even just from my neighborhood that went up. That I mean, I didn't see them there, but it was just kind of crazy to see the Pasadena gifts from so many of my local / semi-local communities. And then yeah, so again, it would have been super nice to have the place that we booked because it was right on Central Park in Old Town Pasadena, so it was like it would have been right there. It would have been great to be able to just hang out with you guys a lot easier for Sunday, or just get more lucky trades done with people that I knew were up at the arena. But we did Irvine instead, and that worked out fine. And I got to meet up with a lot of the Orange County people that were old tournament buddies from COVID era that I still hadn't, put that face to the name yet, and get some of those lucky trades done.
Woo! That's
Yeah.
always good. So yeah, I'm honestly glad you had fun. I didn't go to Vegas last year. This is my first experience, other than it being in LA. Other than it being in LA, which, I mean, I'm no stranger to it. I despise just very, very large cities. My definition of large city is Cedar Rapids, which is like, or here in Iowa City, essentially, there's like 100,000 people. I consider that a decent size. And then you go to LA, that's like 26 kajillion people. Yes, I'm making that number up, but
I'm glad it wasn't like LA proper. I'm glad they kind of focused on one of the other kind of area cities.
yeah,
I think they handled the location well. It was just, yeah, I feel bad for the people who actually had issues getting into the event.
one thing I probably will say is Saturday's security was kind of a joke. in the sense that, like, all you could say was I'm having some network issues, and they'd let you right into the park. That's how I was able to kind of get in. But Sunday, if you didn't have your phone out with like the ticket in hand, they would put you off to the side and wait for you to pull it up. And so like I was in a dead zone on my phone, so I couldn't like pull it up. So I had to ask someone, "Hey, do you mind hotspotting in just so I could pull it up, and then you can kick me off?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." So they let me in, and they were moving people through like super quickly on Sunday compared to like Saturday, where we were standing out for like forever.
Yeah, I'm sure there was kind of, well, how do I say this, reorganization that happened after how apparently poorly it went for some people.
Well, I will say that there was two staff doing the event. You had the Rose Bowl staff, and then you had Niantic staff. Niantic staff was like, "Hey, let's do this. We're gonna do this. We're on it." And of course, the Rose Bowl staff was like, "I understand you have an event here. We still got to do things by the book, and this is what they do." Because the last time when I was at the Rose Bowl, they had like Super Bowl level security. And so I guess like whenever it's the Rose Bowl. If any banned person or even football, if you follow like college sports, will know it's the Rose Bowl. It's like a national monument type of thing. It has the moniker, the granddaddy of them all, for a reason. So I can understand like if you work for the Rose Bowl, you're gonna be a little bit of a stickler, but like we're all Pokemon Go players. We're gonna spend most of our time out on the golf course than anything.
Just walking around the outside of the Rose Bowl itself, though, was pretty nice for hatching eggs too.
I've had so many eggs. My feet still hurt.
Yeah, I was gonna say today is like the first day that I feel human again.
I got 1 day of rest. I was actually supposed to go back to work today, but because we got here so late, it just wasn't gonna happen. So
no, yeah.
Tomorrow will be my first day back, and I'm scared. I'm very scared.
You got this. You made it there and back again.
Yeah, you're not wrong. However, before we move on from LA Tour, or from like Pokemon Go, from Sinnoh Tour in general, do you have any final thoughts of the whole event? Like, or do you have like a place where you want it to be next year for like Unova Tour?
I liked that it was driving range. Like that was super nice to not have to make a whole crazy trip out of it, like to take the whole weekend. And just the fact that it was 2 full counties of geofence for city play, like another huge plus because it was nice to be able to head back towards home a little bit, at least for Sunday. But now that we've done that, I'm okay making an excursion again. It was nice, like really nice to be able to have one close by, but I don't need the next one to be that close. Like I can see, and then I guess for me it was kind of reaffirming the fact that I'm okay, like unless it's a city that I really want to go to for other reasons, like I'm okay just playing the global event for a lot of this stuff. Like obviously there's opportunity cost lost for some of the stuff. Like I don't think I would be able to build my Pachirisu like I have without the quarter hatch distance and bonus XLs and stuff that we got. So I mean, happy to reap the rewards that we did get. A little not sure how I feel still about the last, like the Sinnoh Dex isn't actually complete still. is kind of the giant asterisk of the event, and that is one that I feel the most weird about, just on a fundamental level, where that has been the definition of the tours, that has been why they've been doing them, is okay, now all the Pokemon are out, all the shinies are out, like have at it. Like we're moving on. It didn't have to be as hard as we made it for, especially like looking at regionals and just even like having an opportunity to get shiny of some of the stuff that is hugely difficult to even interact with, like unless your job is taking you to certain places, right? And you have the time to get a local SIM card kind of level interaction. But yeah, community aspect is always the part that I'm going to enjoy the most, and just it's super overwhelming, but at the same time that's kind of my big takeaway. Like I can probably also come up with a top 5 Pokemon that I'm most excited about from the event kind of deal, but really it's more I'm always so glad to just get some faces to names, even if I stand so little chance of actually getting through most of them, or even knowing who all is going, like who is attending ahead of time. Or it's like some of them will be random, and then I mean super extra exciting for you that you got to be recognized and have your very first fan experience.
Yes, that was definitely, like I said, that made my whole Sunday. I didn't care if I got like no more shinies after that, which didn't come true because I ended up with I think 20 extra on that day and a 98 Dialga that Jack had to ruin my hopes and dreams on.
Were you thinking it was the hundo or something?
No, I knew it wasn't the hundo. I thought it was the functional hundo. So like I saw it was like a 15, 14, 15. So I said, I'm done. And I like sprawled out in the grass. And then I texted Jack like, hey, I'm done. I finally got one. I can power it up. He goes, that's not the functional hundo. And I'm going to go, all right, back to raiding.
Yeah. It was a lot of raids.
Yeah, but then Rainfall said, no, that's fine. You're good. You're golden. I would like it to be in Seattle again. Or I would like it, the tour, the Unova tour, to be in Seattle. So I have an excuse to fly back out there. But maybe it'll be too rainy and I don't want the thunderstorm thing to happen again. So maybe Portland.
I will say the Go Fest weather was perfect when we were there for Seattle Go Fest. The other one, like the one they haven't done yet, is Oregon, right? So that could also be an option, or like the Bay.
Maybe not the Bay.
I'm just like throwing them out there. Like there are plenty of West Coast areas they haven't touched yet.
Yeah, okay. I'll cast my vote for. I'm gonna call it and say it's gonna be in Portland next year. There's already a Play Pokemon event at that time, so, or in that city. So who's to say that
regularly
it'll happen? Alrighty. So with that was probably the longest intro we did in a while. Huzzah!
I mean, it was technically 2 weeks also, so there was room for it.
True. Okay, so with that, we are now going to move away from that, and we're going to talk about the meta usage for week 3.
Where's my tab? There it is.
I kind of like I like this visual cue, and I hope it comes out okay on the video side.
Yeah.
I have a pop up next to the off side, and I can kind of see clearly like the top portions that we talk about mainly, and we kind of go from there. I guess like the biggest thing for me is, or the first thing I will say is, the Battle Frontier had to do an extension because Niantic broke their game with the move like we were talking about earlier. Unfortunately, then after 12 hours, it was then decided that the bout can continue, but if you encounter the bug, your games are not disputable. And thankfully, there wasn't any disputes in regards to that bug. So I'm proud of the entire... I guess I'll compliment all the players now. I'm very proud that everybody understood, or at least the captains in general, understood that it's not disputable. So, clap, clap, clap.
Good job, everybody.
Proud of y'all. And now we get to break down week 3. So, we have, starting of course in the Open Great League, moving our way over, we've got Cresselia still sitting nice and pretty at number 1. Chargerbug sits at number 2. Both of those are at like over 40%. Galarian Stunfisk took a massive tumble. It's now dropped under 30%. And then Whiscash Skeledirge is like fighting for 4th and 5th respectively. And then of course you got your Shadow Dragonair sitting at 23%. It's also starting to fall. That about rounds up your top 6. And Jet, I'm starting to see in the Open Great League at least, the players are starting to find bulkier cores to kind of use their shields on more glassy options, like say a Shadow Dragonair, or I'm trying to find another bulky one, but I don't really see it other than the Surfetched all the way down there at 6%.
The glassy one.
Yeah, like the super glassy ones.
I mean, there's the Shadow Lowland Sandslash is decently high, at least on the week 3 usage.
Mm-hmm.
It's up a bit. But yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is just if you are swapping between the overall and week 3, you don't get any discrepancy until you get to about the 10th Pokemon. And even then, it's still like just a different ordering of the same 5 Pokemon.
Yeah, that is true. I think the Open Great League meta, at least for this cycle, has been solidified after 4 weeks of battles, which
3. Let's call it 3 rounds, 3 bouts, whatever.
Yeah.
The weeks is going to be confusing.
It's weird. So like you've got in the Battle Frontier, you have. I'm just gonna pull up one of the tiers for a second. They're called rounds, and then here on the usage chart they're called weeks, and then we all know them as bouts. So
I'm happy calling them rounds.
I'm happy calling them weeks.
Oh no.
So, they'll be interchanged, and that's perfectly fine. So, but I'm talking like the names that we call them. We changed.
Yeah.
Their names changed, so it's perfectly fine. Like, what's the worst that could happen? I get a DM saying you're calling him this from now on. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so real excited. Galarian Stunfisk, I'm surprised took a tumble and is still sitting at close to 30% usage.
Yeah, so it's down 7% from last week.
Gotcha.
Since we're calling them weeks.
You could say last time. I'll know what you're talking about, and I think the audience will as well. They'll hear you. They'll hear you out.
I think it's just easiest to refer to them by whatever document I'm looking at the time. It's like, oh yes, I'm switching between tabs that are labeled week. That is what I will call it.
That's fair. Well, all right. So, I think the Open Great League is pretty cut, straightforward, whatever. It's cut and dry. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, you know who the usual suspects are going to be in a very real way.
Yeah. So, if you want to build an anti-meta team, here you go.
Also, good luck, because, man, that has a lot of resemblance to just Open Great League teams, full stop.
Yeah. I wish you the best of luck if you try to build anti-meta. Unless you are Zimmy Kid, who will bring a Surf Edge into day 2 like an absolute mad lad, and we all love him for it. Yeah, I don't care. It's 40 minutes into recording, or nearly 40 minutes into recording. I was gonna make a Zimmy. I'm making a Zimmy appreciation post this early.
We're going to continue the Zimmy hype.
But Taco, I'm done I'm done going to regionals. No, I don't care. You're still getting the hype. No, he's not done doing regionals too, by the way. I just made that up.
Maybe he is, maybe he's not.
Well, Portland hasn't happened yet, right?
It did.
Oh, it already did?
It was the first one of the, whatever it is, Regulation F.
I'm that far behind.
But if we're also shouting out regionals, I'm glad the regional over last weekend didn't seem to have any issues with the known bugs, so at least they figured it out for them.
Yeah, that was a scary one. All right, so Enchanted. I like how they call it. It's supposed to be called Enchanted. They're called domains, but they put cup.
Again, we're just, I think, a little stuck in our ways, right? Like,
we don't like change, is what we're trying to say.
When it's just a different label that effectively means the same thing, it's whatever.
That's fair. All right, so in the Enchanted Cup, we have the same top 3 with Tapu Fini, who had a lot of usage drop. I think it used to be at like 74% from last time, and it's dropped to 63%. And it's still number 1. I'm checking now, actually, because I need to...
Yeah. It is right there. It is down overall from 80% to 63, so...
I wonder if people are trying to find a different tech option for Tapu Fini.
Or if they're just bored with it. Like, I know from the Enchanted battles that I've watched that so many of them go to time. Like, it's just like the last time Ultra had an actual meta instead of open, where they're pretty often going to timer again. You need a timer person.
Well, that's unfortunate. Let's see. Tapu Fini, Galarian Weezing, Skeledirge, Tapu Fini, Skeledirge, Galarian Weezing. So 2 and 3 got flipped. They're still over 50% usage.
And they're within a percent of each other still, so they're effectively the same.
Annihilate, Licky Licky, Double, Annihilate, Double, Licky Licky. So, I hate to say it, I think Enchanted Cup has been figured out pretty well for the most part.
Yeah, are there any like bigger moves down below that?
We had not really. Snorlax is up in usage to 7%.
Overquill and Stunfisk almost doubled their usage between week 2 and week 3.
Flygon usage stayed the same.
There's still one person on the Flygon train.
Look, all I'm saying is Mudshot Flygon, you do super effective damage into Skeledirge, Galarian Weezing. That's about it, but that's besides the point.
You're playing with fire in those scenarios.
It's okay. I'll still play with the fire. Maybe that's the reason why I'm not the Enchanted Cup specialist.
Apart from not actually having the Pokemon belt.
Look. Why you gotta call me out like that?
It makes way more sense to specialize in this game. Like, it is such a chore to have things built forever. Like, be competitive in every league. Not that there aren't people that do it, but they put in the time.
I will say that starting next season, like in-game season for Pokemon Go, I will finally have a Master League team that'll be level 50.
That's exciting.
I'm happy about it. So yes, that is Enchanted. I would say not too much change, sadly, but people are still finding ways to break the mold. There's usages go up and Pokemon go down. Maybe this week and week number 4, round 4, bout 4, we see Tapu Fini fall to 2nd place. Who knows?
Whoa.
All right, Master League.
Yeah.
Master League. Let's do this. So, this week, the top 2 get used even more with Gyarados and Therian Landorus. Metagross falls a little bit, Florges stays the same, and Mega Slowbro still proves that it is the best Mega, or most used Mega, and by that logic, best Mega in the format. So I am taking a look at the chart as well. Oh, right. Oopsies. Yeah, Therian Landorus had a rocket of usage shoot up, and now it's just still going up, which is kind of interesting when I look at it.
Yeah, it's obviously still on the super hype from getting the debuff move. The nice thing is that it has a little bit of a stay of execution compared to GBL, because they're not allowing the Origin Palkia into the mix.
Not yet.
So it's gonna be rough for the Lando T teams out there this coming week when Master League comes back.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that meta is gonna look, but I'm also curious. I know that the Battle Frontier banned or the Origin forms for this week due to the accessibility issues, which understandable. Next week, however, wait, no, not next week, because it'll be the week number 5, or about round 5, whatever we call it. It's going to be the brand new season for the move updates.
Yeah, things are gonna get shaken in many ways.
Hold on to your hat.
And butts.
That too. Okay, I am curious to see what this graph... Well, this graph will probably look the same in week number 4, but week number 5, I'm curious to see what that usage is going to look like. Alright, Serene, Domain, Cup, Field.
Yeah, those Serene players.
Yeah.
Look, just I see a lot of no arrows in the top section. Okay, yeah, I'm not surprised. Okay.
Can you really be too surprised? Like, I think at this point, I honestly think at this point, Jellicent with its like Ice Beam, Shadow Ball, Bubble Beam, Surf. So it's got 4 moves they can use. Defenseoxys can go either way. Alolan Raichu has... Does it really need Trailblaze in this meta? Not really.
I know I talked to you about it, but to me, Trailblaze just doesn't do the work that Grass Knot does, where you don't even one-shot the Mud Boys, so like you're still in trouble even if you landed.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where if you're using it against a team without a Mud Boy just to get more Volt Switch damage, that feels weird. And if you are up against a Mud Boy, you need the Grass Knot. So it's...
I understand where that's coming from. Yeah, other than like Defenseoxys taking a slight tumble and the rest of the usage going up, not a lot of changes.
Yeah, you kind of know what you're in for. let's see. And maybe this might have been one we touched on last time. Shadow Whiscash usage is up, and I think that can just be more people are used to running it each week. Like, people could have built it for Catch Cup finally that were maybe on the fence about their particular IVs or whatever.
Yeah, it is scary though. Very, very scary.
Because, like, you look at week 1 usage for the Shadow variant, like, the regular Whiscash was up in 23% usage, and Shadow was at 3, and
then it won a regional.
yeah, pretty much, where it's been going up every week, but regular Whiscash is still preferred. I'm very curious to see if that's going to stay the same by the time we get through our time of the Serene.
I'll say it once and I'll say it again. Well, it depends on how much they nerf Scald too, because we know Scald is getting a nerf.
Yeah,
why they put it at 50% when it's 30% in the main series games, I will never know. But you already know my stance on Shadows. Get your bingo cards out.
Yeah,
Shadows are dumb and stupid, and I hate them.
Take your drinks.
I think I've been doing really well. Like, if people made a drinking game out of this podcast, I don't think they'd go to the hospital anymore. Right?
Yeah, and if they do, it's because they wanted to.
I agree. So, lastly, let's go to the Primordial slot. Now I said slot. That's a new one. Primordial Domain, where we have a new number 1.
Oh man.
It's Cradley! And then Sudowoodo is number 2. They just swapped.
Yep. They're still buddies.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, Frostlass jumped up to number 3. And Togetic fell 2 spots. And for week number 3, it goes Frostlass, Chargebug, Togetic. And week 2, we had Milotic, Togetic, Frostlass. Neat.
And we have Chargebug officially in top 6 as well.
Which is very interesting. Oh wait, Chargebug can have Crunch. I approve. Actually, I don't know. Well, Crunch is still a pretty decent option. I guess if you wanted to use it for like the Dragonair, if you got stuck with it, so that you weren't like completely walled.
So, it's an X-Scissor.
Well, we know X-Scissor's staying on. But like, what could Crunch... You really could only use the Crunch to hit Frostlass super effectively.
Yeah, well, and I guess that is probably your point, right? Is that Milotic is kind of the only target, really, for electric moves in the first place?
Well, I see a Greninja down there.
And I guess Togetic, so you would potentially want to keep the discharge for Togetic, and I mean, that's kind of it, right? It's those two. I mean, Gliscopod is also decently high up, so possibly also Gliscopod.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go back.
Not that you're fully giving up electric damage because you do still have Volt Switch, but
I was also gonna say, like, I don't think you really need Discharge because Ancient Power doesn't hit Chargebug for that much. Like we saw. Too much. Like, it's a weak move and it's super effective, but like,
it's still chunks.
Yeah, but the Busco is burnt.
Yeah.
Busco burnt. So I guess there's that instance, which I approve. I like it.
Yeah, it's essentially doing its same job from Open Great League, just over here in the cup, which is pretty good neutral option into most of the meta.
Yeah. All right, so that is the meta usage for last 2 weeks.
This last round.
Last round. Yeah, I can't really say weeks.
Are we doing a shout out for the core usage?
I don't have it pulled up.
Okay, well, for those interested, there's also a Cycle 2 core usage Google Doc that has Pokemon in each meta paired up and their usage listed there. It's overall very similar to the information you're getting just from looking at the top 6 to 10 Pokemon overall, but this at least gives you a little bit more insight into which of them are actually getting used together versus like where the competition might be for a slot.
I might be a little slow while you're pulling that up, or while you're talking about it. Where do I find it on the Battle Frontier page?
It's also just in the Battle Frontier announcements. It's back like a week ago now. I think it was the 12th. And it was just kind of a one-line announcement, or like tiny announcement compared to some of the other ones. But
I'm gonna see something real quick.
we did have some big things happen.
Ooh, it works!
Good job.
I did it, but it looks super wonky.
That's cool. That's cool. We're doing it.
All right, tech support on the fly. Let's go. There we go. Close enough.
Anyway, just wanted to mention it because it is another resource that they're
There we
giving
go.
to everybody, and it's available to reference as we go through the cycle.
So it pulls up. Oh, so it almost pulls everything up properly. Primordial's a little cut off, but I have it pulled up here now. We can kind of go through it a little bit. Of course,
We
like
don't,
the top.
we don't have to spend super long on it just because it looks very similar to the top used stuff, because
Yeah,
it turns
open.
out people are using the top used stuff together, which who would have guessed?
That's some big brain thinking right there, Jet.
Mhm.
A little bit of rapid fire. Chargeable Chrysalia is 6. That core is used 6% more than everything else. Skeleturge, Tapu Fini, Galarian, Weezing is used a fair bit too. Therian Landorus, Gyarados. Therian Landorus and Gyarados in the Master League with some sprinkle in some Metagross. We're having some scuffed issues, but that's okay.
I'm not watching you. Now I am. but
That's okay. It's perfectly fine. We got it. Azu Jellicent with either Raichu, Defense Deoxys, even own Azu is a nice little roundabout. And then finally in Primordial, Cradily, Sudowoodo, Milotic, Sudowoodo, Cradily, Milotic, Sudowoodo, Togetic. Just we get it. You love to see it.
I guess the one worth calling out is Serene, where the difference in the top 3 cores is 1% from one to the next. It's like, oh yeah, those are all on the same team, aren't they? Almost all the time.
Yep. But they're core broken by one certain Pokemon, and I'm not gonna reveal it because
You want to keep using it?
yes, I do. I really want to keep using it. I don't see it on this list, so I am happy with
Spoiler
that.
alert.
Yeah, no spoils this time until the end of the bout or the end of the cycle when I'm permanently back on the bench because Samsung finally got their act together and their S24s now work as intended.
I'm giving it until the rotation to try GBL again because I was at least gonna get whatever it is. I'm on the 4th page of the timed research done, and in the process of trying to do that in Evolution Cup, I lost 200 points. I'm like, okay,
Oh, that's brutal.
We can wait and see if they do any better, but my hopes are not high. It doesn't.
That's fair.
And this is something I didn't mention while we were talking about Sinnoh Tour, but I stopped counting after 50 crashes on Saturday. So just for anyone that was curious, I probably had around 100 game crashes through the weekend. But the quote-unquote nice thing is at least like it boots back up quickly. It's just like there is a little. I think I lost one Dialga from a crash where the raid timer had expired like after we beat the raid and I got a crash. I was like, well, it's just gone. At least I didn't get to see like if it was a shiny or anything. Like it's just gone.
Did you go to tech support?
No, it's I mean it's not like they can like I didn't want to waste time doing that, right? Like I had other things to do.
I mean, one of my buddy, like at my ticket during the ticket event, we had somebody do that and they gave them 5 battle passes. So he's like, hey, so this happened, and like he showed them the phone, like the timer had taken. He's like, it's been stuck on this for like 2 minutes, and like I'm not on anyone's hotspot, I'm on my data, and they go, oh, oops, here's some battle passes.
Well, and I guess that is the nice thing about being at an in-person event is you can actually talk to a person and not have to do the whole automated system. But yeah,
I hate that automated. I think that automated system would do a lot better. And this is probably one of the few times I will argue for it. If Niantic utilized AI properly, I think it can work. Not just like tap in this thing, it finds out some buzzwords, here's the standard pre-generated response. And
well,
vice versa.
even when I've talked to people, like after like the amount of times I actually tried to even get anything back from when I basically get swindled by the game not working is low to begin with. But when I do, and I do my best to describe the thing, like the quote unquote like advice that they give at the end always ignores about, I want to say, half of the circumstance involved, where it's just like, I understand you have this just like copy pasta generalized stuff, but like based on my description, you should know that it doesn't apply.
No, trainer, don't you know? You have to. It's done this specific way because we're never wrong, and our game always works.
Yeah, we know it's got the wet noodle code, but I will at least say for my part and like the group of people I was with that I didn't see anyone get a white screen from raiding, which had been kind of a decent like occurrence issue where even like reloading back into the battle with the new battle team, sometimes just going through that screen it would just give you a white screen, or when you beat it it would give you a white screen. And I saw none of that this past weekend. I don't know how that was for you and the people you were with, but I was just kind of like mentally logging that as an improvement compared to how play has been going into the event.
That's fair. That's a very fair point too. So one thing I will give a rare Niantic W moment for this is them having tech support and like information on site. Like it was kind of hard to find because it was like kind of off the beaten path a little bit, But the fact that they were there and like they were able to like diagnose, work through the problems, and just like them saying, "All right, well here we're gonna go ahead and give you this," and actually not just the genuinely like, here's some little trinkets, get out of our face and go away. Like they really seemed like they wanted to help, which kind of made me think like maybe maybe the people at Niantic aren't like completely clueless on their game as we thought, right?
So, some of them, and that is their prerogative, right, to put the right people in the booth. So
That got me.
That can be the big win for them, is they chose the right people to be in the booth.
Yeah, that's true. Alrighty then. So with that, let us go ahead and look at the scores that were finally input. Quick point, because I know that we mainly go over the North American continent or the North American region. Captains, please report your scores. Not like it's like
there are some captains that are still not reporting scores.
Well, yes and no. And I'm kind of guilty of this too. So like there's a section at the bottom when all the bouts have been played, you go to report score and you can enter it and then hit submit and it goes to the staff admins. And I'm guilty of this too because I want to say that like me specifically, and I'm going to ask for clarification after the recording because it's almost midnight on the East Coast. So like if I put all my battles in and I hit submit, does that then automatically populate? Or do I still have to go in and hit the report button? Once again, I'll ask that in the morning. I should know at this point because... But at the same time, I will let you know I can sometimes be a dumb dodo and things can go awry.
Well, and until you know, how would you know?
Exactly. So, captains, myself included, just always take extra quick second to click on the report button. It takes 2 seconds out of the day, and it saves everybody a peace of mind. So with that, I now have the scores for Ace pulled up. Boop. So, we have... Oh yeah, we're not doing any deep dives this week because LA tour, and we had a lot of stuff to go over. So, we're not just going to do a rapid fire, but we kind of are going to do a rapid fire. We'll take some time. So, we had, in the Ace tier, Fletch Cinderella Story defeats Delibirds the Word 15-6. The Thunder Squirrels defeat Decidueye Dynasty Green. Hooray! They channeled their inner Pachirisu for that one. And finally, Coastal Kings defeats East Caliber 12-9. The Naked Hornet, I am tad sad. I really thought that y'all were gonna take this one. Oh well, just goes to show you that I can be proven wrong on any given week.
Yeah, it looks like there were a couple rough sweeps there.
Coastal Kings is 3-0, and they're the only 3-0 team in the tier left. Ooh, they mad. They really.
Yeah, who do they have left to play? Oh, okay. Fletch and Cinderella can show up. That's possible.
Yeah, it's true. So they've beaten Delibird, and they've beaten Decidueye Dynasty, and they beat East Caliber. East Caliber, I thought, would be the team that would be on top of the standings after 3 weeks, but they've only won one match.
They're big chillin' at this point.
The Naked Hornet, we're gonna have a chat at some point.
I will shout out. Where is he? 92 Gerardo from Coastal Kings. He's one of the San Diego players that snuck onto a team this cycle.
That's really interesting. I legitimately thought that like SoCal Swablu Coastal would sweep them up.
Well, it's one of the benefits, but also pitfalls of being a very popular franchise. Is there's only so many slots.
There is 44 slots. I will give that. Though on our slots we have 22. Other teams have 11, so it works for the time being. Okay, so for the 4th round, I didn't pull this up because I'm big. This, like I said, first time doing this.
I can read them off if you want.
I don't have pictures for it, so I'm gonna let Jet read off the this coming week's battles.
Since we talked about it, I'll do them in reverse order, where Coastal Kings is taking on Fletch and Dorella Story. Thunder Squirrels is playing Excalibur, and Decidueye Dynasty is playing Delagrade's Word.
That's gonna be a really good. Oh, so we have a battle of 1 versus 2 in this week, and actually, Fletch and Dorella Story has outscored the Coastal Kings by 2 points. So this can get really interesting. I am very excited. All right, let us move now into Premier Tier. Oh, yeah, I gotta delete that. There we go, I fixed it. So, in Week 3, Dinair Don't Care probably had the greatest case of whiplash. And I wish I was making that up, because every game was a sweep, with the exception of one.
Yeah.
And it was the Enchanted. First it was 3-0, then it was 3-3, then it was 6-3, then it was 9-3, then it was 9-6, then it was 11-7, and then it was 10-11. That was scary, and I don't want to ever do that again. Nerdy Birds defeats Pioneer Valley PvP 12-9. Switchmasters defeats Fearsome Frostlass 12-9. And then finally, Sea Kingpin defeats Gong Rippers 13-8. In standings wise, Nerdy Birds has solidified themselves as the top bird. The Great Unknown, even though they lost to Dinair Don't Care, they still retain 2nd place, but we all know that's a big fat asterisk, because Dinair should technically have it on tiebreakers, but then Switchmaster should be above Dinair. Oh, we have our very first Circle of Suck. Yes! Yes! I'm happy. So, the Great Unknown defeated Switchmasters, who defeated Dinair Don't Care, who defeated the Great Unknown. We did it! Yeah!
Does a triangle count? Is that enough to make a circle?
Well, if you make the things go like this, and then they do this, and then they do this, it's technically... Wait. Yeah, don't rain on my parade. But in actuality, 3 points separate... Wait, 3 points? Okay, yeah. 3 points separate 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, respectively, with the same amount of wins. Great Unknown has 36, Switchmasters has 33, Dinair has 30. Because even though we win, we don't win well enough, apparently.
Well,
it's not.
Both of our wins are 1-pointers, so...
Fun fact, we are now 500 in scores of 11-10.
Yeah, I mean, we're a little too good at that.
Yeah. Are we the new Hammerheads? I hope we're not the new Hammerheads.
No, they moved up, right?
Yeah, they're in the expert tier. However, one of the big, I would say surprises is Gong Rippers starting out 0-3. Because I thought they had a decent shot in week 3 when they went up, like this past week when they went up against Sea Kingpin.
Yeah, that should have been known territory, right? Like they've played before.
Yeah, they definitely have. And then Fearsome Frostlass, we're playing them this week, so we're gonna try to make them be 1-3. Spoiler alert. But them starting out 1-3 as well. I mean, they lost to Nerdy Birds, which fine, I understand it. Then they beat Sea Kingpin, and then they lost to Switchmasters. I might get some flack for saying this, but isn't Sea Kingpin supposed to be the stronger team than Switchmasters?
Only if you're looking at past placements, right? So it's got that asterisk on there.
Yeah, but even then, Sea Kingpin was the team to beat Brave Nerds. We were all shocked at that.
Well, let's not, goad them too much. We don't need the Brave Nerd slaying version of them to show up.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and put Premier Tier as the giant WTF is going on, mate. Before we get out of this tier, let's look at the previews. Jet, take it away.
For round 4, PvP takes on the Great Unknown. Gong Rippers get Switchmasters. Dino Don't Care is back at it against Fearsome Frostlass, and Nerdy Birds are playing Sea Kingpin.
Love it. I love grudge matches, and this is a grudge match week. All right, let us. Pulling up expert tier now. Boop. Alrighty, so in round number 3 for the expert tier, we have Hammerheads defeating Team Amiga LOL 14-7. TNT Finkles defeats Slark Paper Scissors 11-10. Phoenix Rising defeats iCarly PvP 15-6. And finally, Roslark Foe defeats Thunder Fury. After 3 weeks, Phoenix Rising and Roslark Bow are the remaining undefeated teams. Hammerheads and TNT Fingles sit at 1 loss apiece for the top to round out the top 4. Yeah, this one in particular is looking a little, I'm not gonna say a little more evened out, but having two undefeated teams, we're kind of seeing like which teams are starting to pull away and which teams are fighting to stave off relegation.
Especially because you also have 2 teams that haven't gotten their first win yet.
That's the scary part.
Yeah.
But one of them, Slark Paper Scissors, a very good EMEA team, and the other one is iCarly PvP, which is a very good North America team.
Slark Paper Scissors has lost both of their last 2 bouts by 1 point.
Y'all, trust me when I say this. It hurts, but it gets better. Trust us. Hashtag 1110 gang for life. But yeah, I wish them the best of luck. I think they can pull off that victory. It just hurts a lot. Like after their 16-5 victory. Wait, wrong one. Wrong team. That was Roslark Boat. We're talking about Slark Paper Scissors. They've shown that they can at least hang with like really strong teams like Thunder Fury, which has some really strong players in it. TNT Fingles is a strong, I want to say platinum team if I remember correctly. And Phoenix Rising was also a platinum team, so they're hanging in there. They just
and the bigger thing is just that they've come back from that 14-7 opener and been 1 point away. It's like they're right there. they obviously aren't giving up.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one thing to hang your hat on. The fact that y'all fight until the very bitter end, and you just come up short. But we believe in you, or maybe I believe in you, and Jet's just like in the corner. No, we have good fun here.
I'm excited to see how Hammerhead's Phoenix Rising goes next week, because that is a potential streak breaker for them.
Yes. And Roselark Bow they have Team Omega Lol. I'm not gonna call that an easy bout, because Team Omega Lol, when they want to be good, they'll be very good. But this could very well be a week where we see both undefeated teams fall. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying it might happen.
Always a possibility.
Very much so. All right. So, what are the other two matchups this week, Jet?
There's 3, actually.
Oh.
Black Paper Scissors plays iCarly PvP, so someone is going to get a win. Thunder Fury plays TNT Fingles, and Roselark Bow Omega Lol.
And iCarly PvP has not... Oh yeah, so this is the Battle of the Defeated, so down here.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Someone's getting their first win. So, best of luck to them. Y'all got it. We believe in you. Alright. Climbing all the way up to the Elite tier. We have... Here we are. Texas PvP defeats Northeast Battlers. Canadian Shieldon defeats the Lucky Mucks 11-10. Oh yeah, Texas PvP won 12-9. Mighty Thunderducks defeats Decidueye Dynasty Black 13-8. And finally, the Thunderdome defeats Icy Wind 12-9. Standings wise, we have Canadian Shieldon as the lone number one. What's the word? Lone number one
Undefeated
team. Yeah, that's the word. With Texas PvP and Northeast Battlers, 1 point, like literally one battle behind them. And then the rest from Mighty Thunderducks on down, well, has one battle. So there are no quote unquote winless teams in this division. So this one is starting to heat up towards the end. We've got 4 rounds left, excuse me. And anything can happen here. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens this time out. Can Canadian Shieldon pull off the 7-0? I don't think so. I don't think they can.
Who are you looking at to upset them?
Okay. Call it a stretch, but I think the Mighty Thunderducks can upset Canadian Shieldon, or Northeast Battlers.
So you're looking at one of your super fun circles with the Northeast Battlers.
I hadn't thought about that, but I just know that both of those teams are incredibly talented, and I would say the reason why I won't put the Thunderdome in that circle is because the Thunderdome does have some question marks surrounding it. In the sense that
they did pick up their first win, as did Thunderducks this past round.
True. So like I said before, they had 2 back-to-back 11-10s against some very, very talented teams. So, and the fact they were able to take down Platinum and Decidueye Dynasty Black shows that they can hang with them. And I know Canadian Shieldon's a very, very strong team. But if the Mighty Thunderducks from last week shows up the week that they play them, then the Mighty Thunderducks can take it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we will have to wait a little bit for both of those battles. They're not coming up right away.
Yeah, that'll be during round 5.
5 and 6, yeah. So there is at least the back-to-back for both of those. You can be watching very closely.
Canadian Shieldon, if they've cleared one of the hurdles with the Lucky Mucks, but if they can get through 5 and 6 unscathed, then yeah, they'll pull off the 7-0. I think so. But I think their best chance will lie after Lucky Mucks, of course, lies with Underducks and Northeast Battlers. That's my big brain SMRT thinking right there.
It is looking like the Decidueye is also just right there in the mix. Like they had a good win over Lucky Mucks, but the last 2 weeks have been a little rougher.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could come out swinging against Shieldon this week.
And we'll definitely see what happens on this timeout. So, with that being said, what does round number 4 look like?
So the other matchups are the Thunderdome taking on Lucky Mucks, Texas PvP gets Icy Wind, and Northeast Battlers takes on the Mighty Thunderducks.
That'll be a good matchup. That's our game of the week right there.
I'm also looking ahead to see where the Thunder on Thunder violence is. It looks right like round 6.
That'll be a fun one. I wonder if Migo's like, hey, so if I win, do I get the server for a day?
King for a day.
I mean, it can happen, right? That was elite tier, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go over to champion tier. All right, I have getting champion tier pulled up the side, and here we are. All right. I know where to start. Actually, no, I do know where to start. The Muddy Water and Hoosier Daddies played, with Muddy Water taking a 13-8 victory over them. Parktown Boomers pulls off the upset against the Brave Nerds, 11-10. Home Slice Homies defeats Backstage Battlers 13-8, and finally, Northeast Battlers Utter Madness defeats Evanstonks 13-8.
I know that we would be deep diving. We were doing one.
You were not wrong. I definitely would want to dive more into that matchup.
And, the exact opposite of our matchup this last week, they had all 2-1s. Just, flipped around. No sweeps to be found at all.
Dang. You know what's even wilder? If you look at the standings in the champion tier, Muddy Water and Utter Madness are 3-0. Everyone else is 1-2. That is very interesting, to say the least. And they won't fight until round 6 if they stay undefeated.
There you go.
I am shooketh, Steven.
Well, it's just funny how the tiers have really kind of taken on their own personalities already. Like, obviously it matters who got matched against who at this point, but they've all got their own little stories going already.
And that's what we're here for. I enjoy it. I honestly enjoy this a lot. But my goodness, Barktown Boomers upsetting Brave Nerds. I did not have that on my bingo card for Cycle 2. I am in utter shock.
Who was their other upset?
Rock paper Slark.
Okay, I was like, they've been there, they've done it, and obviously they're in this tier, so.
So all they have to do is defeat Sharks and Wreck, and they get to be like
they get the trifecta.
They're gonna hit the trifecta. Man, Weekend T and Sotiri and a Talking Pikachu and the rest of y'all, like my hats, like honestly, my hats go off to all of y'all. And I mean,
it looks like it was just a great round overall.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not going to go into conspiracy territory. I haven't made my tinfoil hat yet.
Still cooking something up.
I'll talk about it later once I get a tinfoil hat.
Gotcha.
All right, so let's move on to the preview for bout number 4. What do we got?
So round 4, Brave Nerds get to square up against Evan Stonks. Home Slice Homies get the privilege of playing Muddy Water. Backstage Ballers playing Barktown Boomers. And Who's Your Daddies playing NEB Utter Madness.
Going to be some pretty good matchups across the board. Of course, the storylines we're looking at, Muddy Water and Utter Madness. Yeah, Utter Madness are going to try to keep their win streaks alive. Kind of want them to, so it squares off against the Battle of the Undefeateds round 6. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, or I mean, it's also maybe more fun if they're still at 3 wins at that point and they're just battling for their 4th.
Oh no! They're battling to stave off relegation.
Well, that to me that's the most fun, right? Is if you kind of get the tier to equalize.
That makes sense. Alrighty, so finally let's move up to the toppest tier, the legendary tier.
The topperist.
Where we have a very glaring upset. Just very shocking. Anyway, so we have Chicago Stars defeats Sharks and Wreck 12-9. Sky Dragons Gaming defeats LU Vanguard 13-8. EU Emperors demolishes Rock Paper Slark 16-5. Sorry, 15-6.
There we go.
And Deoxys Alberta Form defeats Apocalypse Team 12-9.
Once again, I know which game we would be looking at.
It would be the Rock Paper Slark one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I want to know what happened at this one. Woo, lad.
Couple sweeps.
Yeah. Oh, that was Rock Paper Slark's second loss.
Yeah, they had the wrong side of an 11-10.
Oh yeah, that was last week. We don't have to hit the panic button on the season yet, do we?
For RPS.
Yeah.
If anything, we gotta cheer up Sharks and Wreck and Apocalypse Team, who are still sitting at
0-3. That's true, but I mean, Sharks and Wreck and Apocalypse Team, they're very, very good teams. I just think they're missing a step or two to hang with the quote-unquote big dogs. But honestly, I could be wrong.
They don't play until round 6. They got time to put stuff together before that.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of fights to be had beforehand. And obviously, I will go ahead and say this with a caveat: they're in legendary. They're in the quote unquote the highest tier. If you go undefeated, or if you like lose all your matchups and you get relegated, that's honestly okay, because you were all the way at the top. You deserve to be there. It's fine.
Well, and yeah, you can say you were there. So
Yeah, Dean,
just do it again. Get back up there.
yeah, Diener can't say that.
Nah, yeah.
Well, we're coming for y'all. You know, slowly but surely climbing. So, with that, Jet, take us to the final weekly previews.
The last preview. Apocalypse team is playing LU Vanguard. Rock Paper Slug is playing Sharks and Wreck. That would be a highlight for us. EU Emperors takes on Deoxys Alberta Forum, and Chicago Stars is playing Sky Dragons Gaming.
Gonna be some very good matchups this week. Rock Paper Slug and Sharks and Wreck. That's gonna be a rematch from like all the way back in Iron, I want to say. I think that's when both these teams. I think that's the last time both of these teams were in the same tier itself. So it'll be a very good, fun time.
Very good fun time.
I said what I said. I'm not changing it.
we landed the boat.
Yeah. Landing boats are hard, you know. First you gotta like make sure you're in the water properly. Alrighty, so
And then
that's all. I don't know. I've never flown a boat. I said what I said.
fair.
Alrighty, so that is going to be the first part. I would say like our wrap ups.
Most of the part.
Yeah, most of the part. So with like wrap ups and previews out of the way, as well as Niantic breaking their stuff together, we're gonna take a quick little, very quick commercial break. And it's kind of a fun commercial that I did. I enjoy it. Hope you all have had a chance of it. We're looking for podcast hosts again for the other regions. Hope you all can, if you all are interested, fill out the Google form. The worst I can honestly do is tell you no. We don't want you.
Well, I'm just looking forward to chatting with people.
Same. You don't, like I said, you don't need podcast experience, although it is, if you know how, great. This should come second nature to you. If you don't, I mean, this is the first podcast I've ever done, and I enjoy it. So, if you're on the fence about it, throw it in there. Put your name in there. Worst we can do is just say, thanks for the opportunity. We're passing. So I guess if you don't take rejection well, then don't do it. That's what I'm going to say. But with all that being said, please enjoy a quick word from our sponsors, and we'll be right back after these messages. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Battle Frontier competitors. With the Battle Frontier expanding to encompass all regions, Enter the Dragonair's Den is also expanding. We will be looking for some extra help to give each region the love that they so well deserve. We'll be looking for at least 2 hosts for a region in the APAC region, EMEA region, and LATAM region. If you are interested, please fill out the Google form or send a DM to myself, TacoDog8, who will then send you said Google form. Experience in podcasting is not necessary, so don't feel like you need it. Submissions will close Sunday, March 31st, 2024 at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. There will be a post in the Battle Frontier soon that will give you the local time. We can't wait to hear from you. And as always, keep your dragon fangs sharp. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break, because I know I did.
It was a moment to remember.
I do just want to take this extra point or extra thing to just let everybody know once again, we are looking for some extra help in the EMEA, LATAM, and APAC regions for this podcast. Once again, experience is definitely not required, whether this is like their first time ever podcasting or your 50th time podcasting. It's okay. Like, if you're a perfectionist, don't worry. We have an editor to edit out your mistakes. Our episodes even get past our editor every now and then, so don't feel, like I said before the break, don't feel like it's a requirement. If you want to volunteer your help and enjoy some time and have some fun podcasting, hey, we're here.
And I know there's a lot of players that are looking for their representation and a place to check in on how, you know, their whole region is doing, because we just can't do all of them.
Yeah, like Greg had said, there are 256 teams spread across the entire all 4 regions. It doesn't take a math whiz to figure out that 256 teams times 11 is over 2,000 players. So I will just go on record and say, even though we are the largest with North America, we still have to leave out half of our teams in like the open pools and in the tiered ones. So it is definitely a Herculean feat. And if we tried to talk about every single region, we'd be talking for 6-7 hours. And let's be real here, a lot of that would just be part 1.
That would be recording every day of the week almost.
And as much as I love hanging out with y'all week in and week out, my wife would kill me.
We would be murdered.
My wife would absolutely just say, "You're not doing this anymore." So, with that being said, Google Forms down in the description. I'm going to be talking about it until the deadline at the end of March the 31st at 11:59 p.m. Central Time. The announcement that our wonderful admin Greg was so nice enough to post whenever he gets around to it will suffice. It'll be converted in local time for y'all as well. So with that being said, rest of the housekeeping stuff, we have a Patreon where you can donate and support the show for as little as $1, getting you that $1 gets you access to the Patreon portion of the Discord, which is a super secret chat where you can hang out with the rest of the patrons. A $5 tier gets you access to the recording booth chat where you can fact check us in real time, or just say, "Taco, what are you doing? This is exactly how it works." We're currently working on some ways to get boost engagement on it. I gotta fix up that Patreon a little bit. So as of right now, those are the 2 tiers, but we have a $10 tier, which I don't know what that would entail yet. Maybe it'll be a monthly Patreons only episode, but I have to talk with my co-host about that. It doesn't have to be Pokemon related.
Not Pokemon? What?
We do have other interests. Let's see, what else is there? We do have a Twitter or an X where you can follow us. We are at DragonTamers on Twitter or X. You can follow me personally. I am at TacoDog8. I post memes that may or may not be related to Pokemon, Formula 1, RuneScape, NASCAR, and sometimes just straight up posting. It all just works. So if you want just Pokemon updates and stuff, follow the Pokemon Go podcast and Dragon Nerd Den. If you want memes and degeneracy, follow me. Let's see.
Unofficial.
We do also have, like I said, the Discord. We do have a free section where you can just hang out, talk, answer the weekly question for the communities. That reminds me, I have to pull up that. Here they are. and yeah, hang out, meet some friends, and kind of just see what goes on there. So with that being said, that was and officially now we can unveil this. We have a YouTube channel where you'll hopefully be watching this episode. Or if you're watching on Spotify, the YouTube episode will be pinned down in the show notes as well. So go ahead, give us I guess this is the first time I can say this, give us a like, subscription, and turn that notification bell on. Yay!
I need to go subscribe to us.
It's okay. So far, we have one subscriber, and it's just me.
And a bunch of hidden battle videos, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The other thing was, actually, I wonder if some of them might be public. I'll have to double check.
Uh-oh.
It happens. I'll double check on it. I'll just fix it eventually.
I did have to do that on my new phone because, I have that super cool new phone now, where I've been recording battle videos for people, and of course, default setting is public. I'm like, nope, not that.
Unlisted trainer. Last thing I will say is, if I forgot about the Patreon section, if you do not wish to support us monetarily, just consider giving us a follow, a like, subscription, notification bell, or a review wherever you listen to your podcasts. If it's witty enough and if it's safe for work, we will read it out loud. With that being said, it is time to thank our patrons. We have the following trainers who are super awesome and we love them dearly. We have Trainer Thanks, ZT Smith, Sotiri, and the newest patron that we're going to give a special shout out for, we have the famous DeFi 250. She is part of the GoCast podcast on the PvP corner. She is a wonderful person, and we bonded super quickly over Formula 1 when I saw an offhanded tweet. And so when the Formula 1 season starts, that's like my Formula 1 friend.
I was only shaking my head because my interactions with that have been just getting hard countered at the Continental tournament. It was so rough. I was like, well, this is fine. But yeah, glad to have him on board.
Absolutely. And yes, so it's really fun. I'm very excited to see that we have grown the patron family. Once again, I'll say, patreon.com/enterthedragoners den shows linked down, and the link is in the show notes and will be on the description of this channel. Like I said, it's not that we do this for all the money goes back into the production value of the show, and it's a lot of fun. So
we're trying to make it pay for itself. we're working to get to that line.
Yeah. What was I? Oh yes, I remember now. So I think that covers all the socials.
Is it time to look at how people responded to our question?
Yes, it is community engagement time. I will come up with a better name for that. So earlier in the month,
way back in the beginning of the month,
I asked this question. I asked, which open tier team or teams are you following closely? And of course, we had, within 20 minutes of this episode, of this question going live in the Discord, we had our own friend of the show, Rivelet, answer Wing Attack. I wonder why.
It's weird. Doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. I think Rivelet might have signed with Wing Attack without telling us. Just left us in the middle of the night. He went to go get milk and never came back. Rivelet, how could you abandon us like that? You abandoned your own son, Donut.
Also, the Naked Hornet said a lot of words.
He did. I mean, he always has a lot of good, like, insight into what he says, and I love it. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna try to read it. The Naked Hornet says,
I didn't know you knew how to read.
I do my best. You know, I've been using Hooked on Phonics a lot.
Continue.
So he says, I've been keeping an eye on teams that I recognize from the Sylph era. Ghost Pepper Dunspice, Scissor Me Timbers, N Synchronoise, and Weekend at Burmese. Feels more like a party with old-timers from Sylph. Similar to the Thunderdome Empire. I'm curious in seeing how the SoCal Swablu teams shake out in their comparison to each other. If I've learned anything, it hasn't been a walk in the park for them.
I mean, it depends which team you're following, I guess.
I'm talking about, like, in general, like, all the teams. They don't all just win. Like, obviously gold is gold and blue is blue. I'm talking about, like, the San Diego team and, like, the Coastals. Last time they showed up, they struggled a little bit, but they're kind of getting their footing. You know, they've got some new players. They're kicking some butt. I think they can put it all together. You know.
It did remind me that I needed to check in how San Diego did this week.
While you let me know that, I'm going to read the next question. It's from our very own patron, Sotiri.
Oh, yeah, that was their bye. They had a 2-week bye. Sorry.
Oh my goodness. So Sotiri says, keeping an eye on previous Emerald and Sylph Worlds competitors. If last cycle showed us anything, there were some teams that got comfortable being in those high ranks and the new up-and-coming teams that proved themselves well. So I'll be interested to see how these veteran Emerald/Diamond teams handle their pools. Well, he's not wrong. There are some teams, and man, we're just gonna rip off old wounds on this one. There are some teams that were ranked very high that were on a skid, and the only reason why they finished so high is because Sylph shut down. I'll say it. But I will go out and say this. Some of the world's final competitors teams have shown out their first couple of weeks, and even though, like I said, this is pools, you're fighting for a spot in the playoffs, it's never a time to take your foot off the gas. So, best of luck to those teams. Like, we see Elite TMs absolutely dominating. They're averaging near close to 20 points a game, and I don't think it's fair for that pool, but yeah.
Did we talk about SoCal Swablu Coastal taking Pogoats to a 1-point round in bout 2?
We did not, because in bout 2...
They lost by 1. That's kind of crazy.
Jeez Louise, I see that.
I guess we also probably should shout out the D-Knight matchup, or Dark Knight matchup.
I mean, yeah, the Dark Knight, they got their first win this week. I'm so proud of them. Those trainers, they played so hard, and they got rewarded with a W. With that though, the Elite TMs scored 17 points this past week, but it still goes to show that they're absolutely destroying their pool. Same with Wing Attack. Yeah. I'm scared. I don't want mom come pick me up. I'm scared. These teams are going all over the place.
Cool Cats and SoCal Swabble Gold also up 3-0.
Oh, that's over in pool 2, right?
Yeah.
Man, Cool Cats absolutely destroyed the collective 20-1. Man, down there they've got the collective, Cleveland S Cavaliers, and Queen Bees are still looking for their first W. And they'll get it. I have faith. Right? Yeah, right.
So, I mean, they'll eventually play each other and someone will get a win, so.
The Queen Bees have definitely had a tough run. They've fought with probably the 3 toughest competitors in that pool.
I'm also distracted looking at pool 1.
That's fair. With that being said, though, I am going to steer us into this week's community engagement question, which is, how will you be spending Sinnoh Tour Global?
I'm going to Legoland.
I am going to be playing with some friends. I don't know if the bonuses carry over, but those 18 free raids, I can't pass those up. I just can't.
I don't think we get that kind of bonus, but
if we do,
at least a few free raids.
If we do, I'll be very excited. If we don't, well, then I'm just gonna come home. I'm gonna go back to sleep, and I'm just gonna lay in bed and try to become a normal human being. Because, like I said, I am exhausted.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't know how you're functioning at all right now. I did nothing the last 2 days, and I'm just now feeling okay again.
Lots of water, trainer. Lots and lots and lots of water.
Did we have any like play Pokemon stuff to talk about?
I was gonna shout out the regional from the time that the bug was introduced to it being fixed, and then I don't remember what happened because I know it was like in the European area, in which like apparently the bug was fixed in Europe, but nowhere else for some strange reason. And
yeah, I didn't understand that aspect of it, where it's like, okay, I don't think they've ever done something region focused like that before, so I don't believe them. But that's me.
Yeah. But that's the only thing, play Pokemon. Oh, actually, no, there is one play Pokemon segment that I'm going to talk about. It's while we were in LA, we competed in the largest Go Cup ever.
There you go. Yeah.
There was like, I believe 48 competitors, but like 54 or almost 54 were signed up. I ended up finishing 22nd. And my wins, I was able to beat the Man in the Planet, Trainer Rem, and Irod's, I believe it's Irod's brother or friend. I couldn't remember. Those are my 3 wins. It was a 6-round tournament. I went 3-3. I lost to Hedonis, Ramblin' Man, and Jack of Hearts.
Some good old D-Nair on D-Nair violence.
It was awful. I was the weakest D-Nair that night because Jack and Donut both went 4-2, and I went 3-3. So I jokingly told them, well, I had the hardest run, so. And Jack goes, well, I beat Irod. So
it's like, yeah, but you didn't have to play Jack.
Yeah. And so, like, 22nd out of 40, I think 48 was the final number. It was a pretty decent turnout. I got revenge for the Man Plant I got revenge for Zimmy for the man on the planet sending him down to losers in San
Oh
Antonio.
yeah, I forgot about that.
But he's definitely a very nice person. Like, there wasn't a single person there that I did not want to see. After Talk had happened, I took off because like I said, it was 11:30, and I said, Donut, I'm about the donut was the right answer. Donut, I'm about to pass out. We gotta go.
I gotta go.
So I ended up passing out like in the car ride over, and then I walked, and then Jack helped me back into my room, and so that's our play Pokemon segment. I will say this now: if you're in the Iowa City area on March 31st, we do have the Iowa City Go Cup. So come on down, have some fun, get some battles, and get those points, because World's qualifier is coming up, and you want to get every point you can get. 500's the magic number. I am nowhere near that 500, and I'm okay with that, because this was just like to get my feet wet. I didn't want to try too hard. Maybe next year I'll go full send on the circuit.
Yeah, it's a big investment just in travel, right? Like being able to play enough regionals in the first place, making sure you're playing and like whatever your international is, because those count separately, and then also maximizing all of your locals. I'm still hoping we get more local stuff. I haven't checked the map recently, but like as you know, and we've talked about a good amount now, like with my phone doing the things that it's doing in its interaction with Pogo, like my motivation is low currently, but I am. I mean, I guess I'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but like I'm a little bummed that this might break my legend streak, just because the timing of the old phone dying and then this one like being so unreliable is like a really dumb way to not make it. But it's like when the games have worked, like I know I play well enough that I could make it. It's just dumb to have it hinge on a technical issue.
Yeah, it's a little on the rougher side. But you can join me in the not making legend this season club.
Or like, depending how things look at the end of the week / next week, I could maybe do some kind of Frankenstein contraption. See what I can put together for a final bid.
Well, I'm gonna wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
And we'll go from there. It is now time for the salsa bar, where we make fun of Taco, because boy howdy, he has a lot of stuff he did. So, I guess the first one, I bought the wrong ticket. I bought Sunday, y'all bought Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you got a ticket, which is better than some people waited too long and
yeah. That's the first one. We're gonna do this is like a multiple one thing, because this all happened in a weekend. So
rapid fire.
I got scammed for $40 in Vegas. And everybody's probably like, "What did you do?" If the showgirls ever come up to you and ask for a picture, don't take a picture with them. They will charge you $40, and yeah. So I didn't know. It was my first time in Vegas. I didn't even know like what was going on. So by the time I knew it, it was like, "Hey, we need $40 for a tip," and I go, "Wait, what?" I was like, I have $3.
Oops.
Yeah, so that happened. We drove to LA. With 2 people. That was rough. And then I thought that I wouldn't need walking shoes, or thought my 2-year-old shoes would be good enough to like walk the 50 kilometers that I walked. I was terribly wrong. I ended up messing up my ankle a little bit, so. Oh, the last part, we were driving into our hotel, and I punched in the wrong address, and I ended up outside of a liquor store, wondering where our hotel was, until I switched the numbers, and I found it.
You didn't tell me that one. At least you're in the right area, I guess.
I was in Pasadena. Like, it was honestly like it wasn't without its faults, but if I had to do it again, I certainly would. Just, with better shoes.
Oh yeah. So did you have any favorite catches, or just favorite overall Pokemon that you acquired from the event?
I got the shiny Stunky. I got the family of the 2 shiny Quillfish, and I will say this because I was the one that was credited with this. I was the first in the world to get the shiny white striped Basculin, even though Niantic said that it wouldn't be available.
That's pretty exciting.
So I was very happy to. I was like, hey, no one can take that away from me. Suck it.
I guess that is the one thing I can credit my phone with, is I did my first ever routes this weekend.
Woo!
So that was a function that works even when your game is crashing over and over again.
Yeah, that'll do it. So that is something that I definitely learned or picked up on. So yeah, but that was Salsa Bar. Of course, when Taco goes on trips, Taco does Taco things.
Oh yeah.
For achievements, though, I will kind of slot this one in as well. I got the shiny Chatot, which I was happy with.
Yeah, that's one of the other new ones.
Yeah, I have enough candy to max out Dialga and Palkia in their origin form, so I'll have a master team next season finally, and then
just gotta get them best buddied.
I do. I'm gonna start working on it, and I'm gonna give up on walking Carbink.
Oh, Carbink.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe it'll be in a better spot again after the Scald nerf.
Oh goodness! Don't remind me. Oh, I guess like another thing was I was able to get I plus 3 shiny Misdravises.
Is that just what you wanted, actually?
They were just there.
Yeah.
And then I hatched a shiny Mime Jr. for my Dex entry, so that was kind of cool.
Those are always great.
So other than all, I consider it a great success, and there's nothing that anyone can do to tell me otherwise. Other than that, the other achievements that we have is you got the Hundo Squirrel built finally.
Yep, that I didn't even realize how much XL I was getting from those hatches until just maybe halfway through Saturday. I looked over, I was like, oh, I only need 20 XL now. I will take that. That is a huge win, and of course got enough and built it immediately.
apparently I didn't hatch a lot of. I only got 84 Pachirisu XL candies, and one of the Pachirisus I hatched was a 98%.
There you go.
That's still the functional hundo, right? It's a 15, 14, 15.
So you seem to be confused about what functional hundo means. Do you?
I do. I
Do we
don't
want
know
to
what
talk
it
about
means.
this?
Yes, please
So-
tell me what
so-
functional hundo.
In general, because Pokemon Go uses a rounding system for the HP values, there are just certain Pokemon that at 14 HP have the same actual amount of HP as they do at 15 IV. And so it's literally exactly the same stats, even though you have one less IV.
Oh,
So
okay.
However, you can have an effective hundo if it wins all of the same matchups. And I think that's kind of like what you're referring to, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. So yeah, the functional just means it's literally all the same stats. And so that'll never be the case for the 14 defense, because that one is decimal values.
Okay.
But yeah, it's always the lower HP value.
HP, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be the first to say I do struggle with that. Like, because it's like 14 defense or whatever. So that is, and I was also doing a Google search of functional hundos, the list.
Yeah, well, man, and it's different depending on whether you're looking at 40 or 41 or 50 or 51. There's a few that are the same across both benchmarks, and I mean it's less of an issue now that pretty much everything is at 50. Like, we don't have a classic rotation in GBL at all, so it's not really something you have to worry about for level 40 most of the time. But
Gotcha.
yeah.
All right, so that helps me a little bit. And then finally, Tension Horror makes it to veteran before me.
Good job, A10.
You're the best. But what was really surprising is she got to veteran in 300 fewer games than last season. So
And that's a good way to look at just improving as a player too, is your overall games to get to any whatever level your line is.
yeah, this season has been a struggle for me. I haven't won. I've done less games winning. I've done about 200 less games, and I'm sitting down at 8 and it shows. So I will do my best to climb as much as I can.
Well, and since I can't play anyway, like, we might as well do some coaching stuff, right?
Yeah. Although I'm back on the Palatown PvP server, or Palatown channel, after my month-long hiatus. Now we'll see where it goes from here.
You did move house, so that does take up a lot of time.
I moved, went through trauma.
Also
Maybe.
the trauma.
Yeah, I moved. We moved. No, it was trauma. Then we moved, and then house renovations or house emergency, and then LA. This all happened in like the span of a month, and then now I'm back, and the work can officially begin.
Right back at it again.
Also, insert joke about having to wait 3 weeks to get my stupid furniture delivered.
But it's all done, right?
Yes.
It's
Now I
all it's your house now.
Yes. Yes, it is, and I'm very excited. So that's I guess that's our GBL progress as well, because I haven't touched it, and you also have not because of battles.
I talked about it at the beginning, where I even just wanted to attempt the timed research, and it is just a struggle.
The struggle bus is definitely real here. So, all right. So with that, it is time to call it an episode. It's
a Tuesday.
Yeah, it's officially first video recorded episode in the books. I think this is gonna be great. Now I'm just gonna try to edit it all together, and we'll go from there.
See how it will be as surprised as you to see how it all turns out.
Yeah, and if I hate it, I'll just scrap it and I'll go back to the audio format.
At very least, I'm excited to have the visuals for like looking at all the charts and matchups and stuff.
Yeah, and I'll be sure to kind of do it a little bit better this time. This is kind of just, I just got home and we record in 3 hours. I'm not tired at all. It's fine. It's fine.
Yep, I am amazed. I'm amazed by your performance.
Yes. Alrighty, so with all of that being said, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I'm going to try to get this new outro out. I hope it doesn't fall flat. Like I said, thank you all so much for watching listening week in and week out. Thank you so much for tuning into the very first episode. It really does mean the most. I want you to always remember, keep those dragon fangs sharp. You can defeat those ice types if you set your mind to it. Fairies, they do not have candy. Stay away from them at all times. And until next time, we will see you all in our next episode.
Don't forget to be awesome like Taco.